Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome to Digital Pub. This is episode 15, Digital Pub Brewing Digital Conversations. And I'm your host for this show, Ben Francia, digital marketing coach and the founder of Francia Digital Marketing. Okay, so parang tagal kong hindi nag-stream, no? Pero isang linggo lang naman. For the first time na break natin ang ating ang ating weekly streak of doing weekly live stream. Pero okay lang 'yun kasi sobrang busy po tayo in the past couple of weeks assisting our clients with their live events also. Kasi one good thing about this pandemic is that it opened up opportunities. And dahil parang ang lakas ng music natin Dahil lang hinaan natin konti. Yan, okay. So since this pandemic, syempre a lot of companies can't go back to their usual corporate events. So syempre yung option nila is to do virtual online. Marami mga companies hindi ganun kasanay doing live events and live streaming. So we're here to support them with their live streaming needs. Uy, ang aga ni Mr. Martin de los Reyes. Good evening sa'yo, Martin. Okay, hello dyan sa sunny California. Galing, no? Kapag nakakatawa sa ganitong format, ganitong type of content is you can reach people regardless of location. Walang boundaries. As long as merong internet, we can reach you and you can reach us. So bro, tagal mo na dyan Kailan uwi mo? Pagdating mo dito, quarantine ka. Okay, sige. Alright, sige. So we have a very special topic for tonight. We'll be talking about how to manage your teams, your remote teams in this virtual remote setup. Okay, shout out muna sa mga nanonood. If you are watching us tonight, okay, and if you missed us last week, please say hi in the chat box. And we'll be glad to give you a shout out. And if you have questions, just post it in the chat section below this live stream video. Okay. And also, for the very first time, we're doing multi-streaming. So what's multi-streaming? We're streaming at the same time, simultaneously to multiple channels. We're streaming this live video show, this video event, both to Facebook and at the same time to YouTube. Okay. Excited kasi this is our first time doing this, and also we want to start promoting the YouTube channel of Digital Pub. Wala pa po siyang username kasi we haven't reached the minimum number of subscribers for us to be able to assign a username to the YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed or follow us yet, just hit that red subscribe button below, and you'll definitely receive notifications from us every time we go live and talk about digital business, digital marketing, and digital entrepreneurship. Okay. Uy, thank you nga pala uli sa ating kaibigan kay Mr. Mike Cubaria, Mike Freak, aka Mike Freak, who is the producer of the music that we've been playing in all our live stream shows, especially Digital Pub. Okay, if you want this music, if you're having a good time listening to his music, just check him out in Spotify. Just search Mike Freak. Okay, sige. But before we start talking about the topic for tonight, birthday greeting muna tayo. Okay, sino bang birthday celebrant sa atin? Siyempre, ang ating kaibigan na si Mr. Ruben Henry Marasigan. Alright. Woo! Ayan. Meron tayong sound effects kaso ang hina, no? Hindi gano'n naririnig. Okay. Para yan, happy birthday. Yan, si Mr. Marasigan. Tagal na nating kaibigan yan, no? Hindi pa tayo, wala pa tayong kamuwang-muwang sa mundo. Okay. Kailala na natin yan. And of course, another friend of ours, si Tina Araneta. Happy birthday, Tina! And also, congratulations! Hindi ko na i-announce, basta congratulations kasi baka ayaw mo i-pa-announce. Okay, pero hindi, public na naman no? Pinost mo na Pinost mo na on Facebook Congratulations, our friend Tina Araneta just got engaged. Okay? On the same day na birthday niya. So, ang galing ng fiancé mo, no? Talagang pinaghandaan, tiniming. Ayaw gumastos, pinasabay sa birthday yung isang gastos na lang, birthday celebration and engagement party. Okay, sige. So again, happy birthday and congratulations si friend natin si Tina. Okay, sige. So, huwag na natin patagalin. Special pa rin syempre ang episode natin for tonight. Maski wala tayong guest. Syempre, pag wala tayong guest, kailangan may kainuman tayo dito, no? Same as last time that we had our digital pub na wala tayong external guest, okay? We had in our show none other than Mr. Carlo Geeks Out, Mr. Carlo Angelo Gonzalez. Pare, magandang gabi. Good evening.
Hello.
Oo, parang hindi kita ini-introduce as guest. Kasi, hindi ka naman guest dito, no?
Yeah. I can, ramdam ko nga
Di bale pare, minsan para naman, baka sabihin mo naman, hindi ka special Pagagawa kita ng separate poster. Gusto mo meron pang may promotional video pa.
It looks like ako rin magpapagawa.
Ikaw rin gagawa. Ikaw gagawa nung storyboard, ikaw pagagawa kay Eliza ng video. Ikaw rin magpa-publish.
And that's our segue to our topic.
Okay. Hindi kaya seriously, kaya si Carlo, for everyone's information, kaya si Carlo hindi guest kasi number one, he's really part of the team and he's part of the the brains who help us conceptualize this show. Okay, he helps out with the content, he helps out with the backstage production, tapos ngayon rin siya, front stage din, no?
I'm very hands-on, so there's that.
Para rin may kainuman ako kapag walang kausap in the live stream. Kamusta? How's everything since nag-uulan, since last week? Sobrang busy natin last week.
Yeah, last week was particularly rough because of ang daming bukod sa we're handling to our clients' concerns, diba? May mga events na nangyari. Yun. It's been a very busy, productive week, I should say.
Oo.
Yeah.
Kaya nga yung ibang members ng team pinagano ko Pero ikaw hindi kita pinag-leave ng Lunes.
Yep, I wasn't gonna say that on stream. I was gonna say that.
Don't you feel don't you feel proud we can't survive a Monday without you. Huh?
God help me. No, yeah, I'm chill with it. I'm okay with it. I love doing this anyway. I love dealing with I love talking to our teammates very much. No sarcasm, they're really fun to be with.
Talking about teammates. Okay, ang topic natin for tonight is managing your remote teams or remote team management. Okay. This is something na very timely and relevant these times. Okay, I know sobrang laki na ng difference ng quarantine right now compared to how we were when we started during the ECQ. Kasi yung ECQ sobrang praning na lahat ng tao, walang lumalabas. I remember when the first time that I went out, nag-drive ako papunta sa BGC, sinundo ko si Dayan, my wife. Si Den, frontliner kasi sa bangko, di ba? So may pasok pa rin sila. First time I drove along C5, walang tao, as in walang sasakyan. Pero ngayon sobrang traffic na. Like parang everybody's back to normal.
It's like there's no pandemic going on, no?
Pero in spite of that, I think the work from home setup, okay, having your teams working remotely is gonna be here to to stay. Hindi na to I feel hindi na mawawala to. It's gonna be here for the longest time.
A while.
Oo. Not just because people have been used to it, not just because people are still kumbaga praning, ayaw pa rin pumasok sa opisina, but we've already experienced the benefits, the advantages of having a remote team.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, lalo na for entrepreneurs, 'di ba, who usually have offices, etc. They save up on rent. So maraming perks to working from home.
I think yung cost, the cost savings of having your team work from home is one of the least advantages eh. There are way more advantages than just cost savings. Okay. Kwento ko lang siguro my first experience of not really working from home. Wag ko na kwento yung first experience ko na working from home. Me working from home kasi baka kulang yung isang oras natin.
That's the entire digital
podcast. Hindi. Tsaka ang tagal na nun, di ba? Okay. Hindi pa, parang hindi pa nga yata na-coin yung term na na virtual workspace, working from home. I don't even recall parang a term being coined na hindi ko pa naririnig yung term na let's say virtual workforce, virtual assistant, no. So hindi ko na sasabihin kung kailan yung anong year yon.
I was gonna say, was this like 200 years ago?
Lul, gago. Hindi
I'm going to be swat at by everyone in the comments.
Well, wag na. Too much information. Wag na. Sige. Pero, ayun, I won't be talking about yung experience ko working from home, but instead, I wanna talk about yung personal story ko when I started managing remote teams. Okay? So, I guess my first break managing remote teams was, what year was this? 2008 yata, I think. So, ang tagal na. Ang bagal pa ng internet nung time na yun, ha? In fairness. Pero naka-DSL na ako noon. 2 Mbps. Pare, kapag ka nakaganong speed ka during that time, bilis ng connection mo. Ang bilis mo mag-down. Wala pa yata BitTorrent nung time na yun, eh. Parang LimeWire pa yata, no? Anyway, so, I started working for an offshore web development company, web development firm. It's based in the US. Pero syempre I had experience managing teams leading people is something natural to me. Okay? So this client of mine recognized na Ben, hindi ka lang pala developer, you can manage teams eh. Why don't you manage my team there in the Philippines? Oo nga, yun nga sinasabi ko sa iyo eh. Pwede kitang tulungan dun eh, di ba? So me and my big mouth, okay? Napasubo ko. Nangyari because of me managing the not really the team but overall the whole operations of that company here in the Philippines. I ended up hiring, training, and managing a team of more than 10 web developers. Okay? Located in different parts of the country. Okay? Na never kami nagkita maski isang beses. Okay? So, yung iba as far as Bacolod, Davao, Zamboanga, siyempre, Manila, marami based in Metro Manila. And that was my kumbaga yung first introduction ko to this practice of managing your remote teams. I was still employed at the time, pero it was I would say parang a huge opportunity for me because that really introduced me to the best practices. I really learned a lot. Parang yung pinaka jumpstart course ko. Ayun yung part na hindi ka marunong lumangoy. O eto, tapong ito sa ilog, matutuon lumangoy.
The only true way to learn how to swim.
Yep. And it was I won't say it was easy. It was really difficult. I got stressed. Okay? Hindi yung mga empleyado na-stress. Ako ang na-stress. I was working so many hours. Every time maririnig ko yung Viber, yung Viber ring, parang ko.
Viber or Skype?
Ay, Viber. Skype pala, sorry.
Skype.
Viber tuloy. Wala pang Viber noong time na. Skype. Pag naririnig ko yung Skype na na tone, parang natitrigger ako.
What's that?
Parang Oo, grabe. Pero again, it was there was a lot of good and not so good experiences during those years I was managing that remote team. But I would say more good takeaways, because I really learned. It helped me develop into a really efficient remote team manager. Okay, and eventually as a team leader, as an entrepreneur. How about you? What's your story?
Working from home, I guess I'm not sure if this was if this counts, pero and I think nakwento ko na yun when you interviewed me in that one job interview.
Ako ba nag-interview sa'yo?
No. Yeah, you interviewed me once nung nasa BPO pa tayo.
Baka may sakit yata ako nung time na yun eh.
Sabi ko nga, it's the greatest career choice you've made. Anyway, just kidding. Back then, when I was in college, I was helping support my own studies by doing people's homework abroad. So there's this basically
you did that? You did that? Assignments for other people?
Yeah, abroad.
US?
Not here. So
Galing.
yeah, US. English assignments siya. So obviously, kasi I don't know naman other languages. I used to do that before. And that was my first foray. Pero it's not as bad as yung my Skype calls. It's really the emails and then the text of the project manager. So siguro from the point of view of an employee, that was my first working experience. Pero in the strictest sense, where working from home was when I was already working with you already. I got a little place in Pasig that I get to call my own, di ba? And ayun, my internet, etc. It was the best time of my life.
Saya, di ba?
And yeah. So basically, merong I was able to learn a lot, especially from maraming I guess what I'm saying is maraming learning curves, and particularly if you don't come from the if you come from the corporate it takes some getting used to, lalo na if you're used to going to the office to do some work and going home. It takes some getting used to, kasi I used to work in a BPO before, call center muna and then BPO, so parang and it needs some adjustment. Like lalo na if you're working from home, like tapos yung bed mo is malapit lang and to your working area. It's so tempting to just lie down and wait for a reply from the client, etc. So medyo it takes some getting used to. And ayun, parang eventually as time progressed, it was a long time before I actually got to learn some skills. Parang I got to I got to get used to it. And yun, when I got to the point where I'm already managing teams, there were definitely some how should I say this? There were definitely some difficulties.
Carlo, magandang mo eh. Na-realize ko rin nung last time na when I was thinking of a topic to discuss for this episode. Sabi ko managing remote teams. Uy, sakto si Carlo dito. I'm sure kasi you'll be able to provide a lot of insights kasi you're able to really experience both sides of the court. You as a member of a remote team and you being a team leader, a manager leading a remote team, di ba? So yung yung karma na tinatawag.
I was gonna say, is this a form of karma? I don't think so.
na experience mo.
Karmic retribution is bad. Pero yeah, may mga difficulties talaga. Pero syempre, it's something that you're able to, given enough experience and given enough, I don't know what to call it. Hindi siya soft skills leadership talaga siya given enough leadership skills and just being able to connect with your staff or with the person that you're working with, it gets relatively easier.
Oh, Carlos, since you started talking about difficulties, challenges, let's focus our discussion along that topic. Let's not talk about difficulties of working from home. Okay? Everybody knows that already. Let's talk about the difficulties, the challenges of managing a remote team. Okay? What's on top of your list?
On top of my list, this is just a joke, but
is it a very long list?
No, it's not necessarily a long list. It's really, and I feel like this is on top of everyone's list. It's definitely communication, right? So parang, how should I say this? Communication between two people is difficult enough if online siya, lalo na if chat, etc. Normally kasi in an office setting, particularly, you get to talk to the person in person, right? Compared sa kapag kunyari chat lang, di ba? It's relatively difficult to show or to convey instructions if it's only through text. Diba? I'm guilty of that kasi like even tayo when we used to work sa BPO, diba? Even if you're already there and showing me exactly how to do things, I have problems
bigla sumakit bato ko bigla, Carlo. Yung pinaalala mo sa akin.
So that's one really that's like conveying instructions, conveying parang mga objectives for the day that can be very difficult lalo na if through chat lang. Ayun. So that's on top of my list. It's communication.
Yep. Tsaka siguro in line with that, I guess what makes communication difficult for a remote setup is the lack of non-verbals.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah.
Kasi when you say communication, it's not just parang words It's not just spoken words. It's not just language. Yeah. There's so many things to communication than just the words. Diba? Your facial expression, your body movements, your gestures. Diba?
Yeah.
So, medyo mahirap i-deliver yun via Zoom. Di ba?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, probably in the future, meron ng virtual reality technology or pwede ka nang mag-energize. Yeah. Di ba? Beam me up.
Yeah. Scotty, beam me up to display so I can tell him exactly how
diba?
to do it.
Okay, yung comms tech nila, nila Wakanda,
Oh yeah, that would rock. Yung parang
hologram.
Just hologram and he gets to control it. Pero one thing that I've learned siguro from that was you have to get to know, I guess, as do we go straight to how to quote unquote resolve that particular difficulty?
Hindi, himayin muna natin siguro yung communication. Aside from the non-verbals, what else do you feel what else do we feel makes communication difficult in this kind of setup?
I think it's pwede ko ba ikwento yung yung experience?
Ano ba to? Blind item? Blind item?
No persons. It's really more of parang we work with people from across the globe. Joke lang. We work from people from across the Philippines, di ba? Yung iba taga Iligan, iba taga taga Cebu, etc. So these are our virtual colleagues. Yep. Virtual colleagues. So parang di sila totoong colleagues. So, these are people from across whom we connect with on a regular basis through the internet.
So parang I feel like it's also the language barrier
Oh
sometimes.
yes, syempre that's a I agree, that's a factor. Okay, kasi syempre ibang dialect.
Ang dialect nila, 'di ba? Pero we're still very lucky that like yung mga friends natin, mga colleagues natin from Iligan still able to can speak Tagalog, and they're also very proficient with English, right? Ayun. So parang when we did a little visit sa Iligan, parang nung una I thought I was going to have this very difficult time. Do I have to speak in English? Do I have to speak in Tagalog? And I guess we're very lucky na they speak both dialects fluently. So pero sometimes yung context kasi may mga words or may mga context kasi na magkaiba ng kahulugan. And sometimes there can be a little confusion, lalo na if hindi pala pareho kunyari yung mga salita, yung mga words na ginagamit. And alam mo parang that's sometimes some sort of a barrier when it comes to communication.
Agree. Communication. Sige. I think one other thing na pwede nating i-highlight in relation to communication is cultural differences. Diba? Yeah. I would say relatively dito sa Maynila, parang masanay tayo ng direct to the point. Diba?
Yeah.
People people that we've worked with, it's not naman, I'm not generalizing, okay? Pero I've experienced working with team members that are based outside of Metro Manila were too polite. Na having a hard time saying no, having a hard time saying, let's say, expressing their points. Kapag hindi naintindihan, natatakot sabihin.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I remember nung when yung first time I started working with clients and bosses that are based in that are Americans. Okay? So ibang-iba syempre, 'di ba? Iba yung kultura nila, iba yung kultura natin eh. Buti na ako did my research. Pag sinabi nilang, what the F, Ben? Diba? Pero pag dito sa Pilipinas, parang, gago to, minura ako. Diba? Diba? Ka rin, diba? Pero, I mean, para sa kanila, for some like Americans, it's normal. Especially mga, let's say, people in the East Coast, medyo mas I would say mas magaspang, pero parang sige na nga, mas magaspang.
They take their creative
license. Yes, oo. Pero alam mo yun, if you're not familiar, if you're not aware na ganun ng that's just how they are. Okay, they don't mean ill naman in that kind of language. Okay lang, no hard feelings. Okay? So parang ganun yung na-experience ko rather working with team members na based in really remotely located areas. Iba na yung kultura.
Yeah.
Pero hindi naman ako nahihirapan makasakay sa mga millennial workforce. Nakasakay naman ako. Hindi naman ako yung lolo na hindi na nakakasakay, di ba? Pag sinabi lang, Sir G, di ba? Or Sir AFK lang ako, yung mga lengguwahe ng mga di ba? Well,
yung parang abbreviations nila.
Di ba? I guess kasi syempre meron akong I have a 12-year-old daughter na pagkausap ko sa phone or ka-chat ko on Viber, feeling ko parang parang ka-chat ko si sino ba? Hindi na, I won't mention names, pero parang ka-chat ko mga boys natin from from Iligan eh.
Iligan. Yeah, I think that might have contributed niya. Are you saying that age difference is also a factor?
Yes. I would say yes. Kasi if you're, let's say, in your 50s, Wala ako 50s ha. Nasa 45 pa lang ako. I'm proud with my age. 45 mo po to.
We have a friend na 50s, so
Uy, loko to.
You're treading that line very...
Uy, di ka abot doon. Maski sa takbo tsaka sa bike. Maski 50 na yun. Hindi, pero totoo, age is a factor in, syempre, communication. Kasi, iba na yung iba na yung lengguwahe, iba na yung mindset, iba na rin eh. Diba? So, I guess those are some of the things that really contributed to the challenge of remote team communication. So, how are we handling it? How are we addressing it? In your case, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, since we use a very we have a system in place kasi to handle that. First, we use Trello to assign tasks, to assign projects, and to basically communicate with the team. There's Trello, and then if things aren't being like if it's taking too long for things to get done, we have Hangouts, right? And after Hangouts, if hindi madaan sa text chat, daanan nilang sa call. Ayan. And parang I guess at the end of the day, it comes down to learning how to communicate with different kinds of people. Some people just portray mo lang sa chat or portray mo lang sa Trello what task you want to have accomplished within the day. They'll get it na agad. Others, they require a call. With video, and then as in inaano mo sila, you're walking them through the process of how to get a particular task done. So it really boils down to knowing how to best communicate your desired outcome sa kanila. And
Carlo, if the challenge is communication, the solution is communication. Diba? Communicate more. Increase the frequency of communication. So, I'm sure you've noticed also, Kaloy, na in this kind of setup, mas madalas tayong nagkakausap. Di ba? Yeah. So, that's ayun ang irony doon eh. Kung kailan hindi tayo nagkikita-kita, doon tayo mas connected, that's mas nagkikita-kita virtually, it's mas nagkakausap. So, much more aligned. So that is my suggestion to managers, entrepreneurs, business owners, or managing the remote teams. Increase the frequency of communication. So like in our case, how many times? We have our morning scrum calls. Okay, just to kick off the day. But prior to that, we've been communicating now on chat. And as needed, depending on the person, kung merong mga urgent, we'll need to engage into one-on-one calls right away before the actual scrum call. Okay? Yeah. To complement that, we make sure that our Trello boards are updated. For those people who are watching us who are not familiar with Trello is a task management, project management, collaboration tool, software. It's web-based and it's free. Okay? You can check it out, Trello.com. We've been using it for years, and it works for us. It really...
Like, we wouldn't survive a decade if it weren't for Trello. Trello, you should totally sponsor us, by the way.
It keeps our shit together. Diba? So, that's one form of communication. So, not just increasing the frequency, but also engaging in different types, in different formats. Audio, written, documented, visual types of communication. Ano pa ba? Syempre, in between, I can't even count how many times do we chat. Diba? Pero we have to be yung mga bago sa remote team management, you have to be very mindful of how you use chat applications, kasi chat is really very interruptive. You need to understand how chat applications should be used. before it was called chat apps. Ang tawag diyan, instant messengers. Okay? 'Di ba? IM, instant messengers. Kaya instant messengers kasi you need to send instant messages. You don't use chat applications or instant messengers to document a whole instruction, 'di ba? Or to provide, let's say, feedback, let's say a particular design na hindi mo nagustuhan, merong ang feedback, doon mo i-document. Tendency it gets lost.
It will get lost.
So, chat is good for let's say quick messages. Hi, hello. What's this? What's that? Where can I find this? Where I can find that? What's the status of this? How do we move forward? Di ba? Instant messages, instant messages that require instant responses.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And parang based dun sa sa what you mentioned about how disruptive they can be, I found out na some people are want to be disrupted less. So parang I'll have to leave a modicum of, like when I manage people, I'll have to leave a modicum of understanding, lalo na if it's a particularly task heavy job, diba? Parang we don't want to like disrupt them with chats after chat after chat, right? So parang we need rin to understand na they've got a task to do. So parang yun yung I guess the point is to really use chat sparingly and when you absolutely need to get responses agad.
Tapos refrain from creating too much chat groups. Chat groups are meant to be used as groups. Hindi siya meant to be used for, let's say, project management.
Yep, definitely.
Ano pa? Communication tools. Of course, email. Diba? Hindi pwede mawawala sa email. Email, I would say, should be your primary communication tool. Or official communication tool. Kasi, if communication in email, kumbaga, makes things documented. Parang lumalabas, if it's not on email, it's not official. Diba? And I would say that's that's the official mode of business communication, diba? Hindi ka na papadala ng printed letter, diba? Email na palagi.
The olden times where you used to print tasks.
Yan.
Yeah.
And of course, recently na became popular mga video conferencing.
Definitely. Yeah. I guess we can tackle din yung sa how iba yung kapag meron kang nakikitang face in the videos versus yung wala. Like in our scrum calls, it's always a must to have a camera unless sira yung camera or something. Mostly because bukod sa the pandemic is happening, right? Diba parang we need social connection to feel human again. Iba pa din if you're able to see the another person in the other screen, particularly if you're communicating tasks. As a manager, I want I dream of, or I want to see them like paying actual attention to what I'm saying. Kasi if kunyari wala akong video, 'di ba? I can just say yes po while looking at another screen, 'di ba? Parang it's bukod sa it's nakakabastos. I don't feel na I'm talking to a person if there's no camera involved. Of course, special instances na parang sira yung camera mo, okay, fine, when are you getting one? So parang that's how I feel communication when it comes to video calls need to
and I feel it's basic courtesy if the person that you're talking to is showing his or her video. Diba? It's common courtesy that you need to show your video as well. If you're not comfortable showing your video, diba? Or if you have if there's something wrong with your video, with your camera, you need to at least ask permission, 'di ba? Na,
Yeah.
is it okay na if I don't show my camera kasi hindi pa ako naliligo? O, di ba?
Yeah.
O kaya,
Yeah.
naka-underwear lang ako.
Well, naka-t-shirt, naka-sando lang po ako. Kahit naman tayo when we have our calls, yung isa nakasando, okay lang eh.
Hindi,
Diba?
pero tayo, in our case, inano na natin, di ba? Dapat kapag pag work mode,
dapat,
at least work attire ka. You don't have to wear naman a suit and tie or mag-long sleeves ka. At least,
t-shirt
at least, clothes that you don't wear, let's say, pag matutulog ka or magbabasketball ka, di ba? Di ba?
Yeah.
Ako, syempre,
Yeah.
for practicality and for convenience, I started to open myself to wearing shorts while working or even during conference calls kasi di ko naman pinapakita yung legs ko, di ba? Pero yung shorts na gamit ko, hindi yung pambahay. May separate set of shorts ako na pang work from home.
Yeah.
Oo. Yun. Pero I agree do sa sinasabi mo, dapat talaga you see the people that you're talking to.
Yeah, I mean, in an already online world that you don't, alam mo yun, parang it's hard to connect na kapag avatar lang yung nakikita mo. Dapat at least may fit.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
It's professional courtesy. Hindi nga professional courtesy maski hindi
It's just courtesy.
It's just courtesy that you show your video. So you as a manager, as a team leader or as a boss, you need to communicate this to your employees. Kailangan sanay sila. Tayo naman sa team natin, sanay naman everybody, di ba? Unless merong
Sanay naman.
pag official na, pag let's say pag nag-start na yung timer, game na tayo, di ba? Everybody shows their videos.
Yeah. Like there are some, like I remember one particular case, the one of them had internet problems and data streaming. Parang, sige, okay lang. So I just turned off my video na lang para same footing. And I, at that time, I can remember I was doing a screen sharing. So those particular cases, okay lang. Pero kapag scrum call, may general assembly, at least a video would be nice.
Yep.
It would be nice to see another person across the screen.
Oo. Tsaka isa pa about communication din. Each person is unique. And I would say each person communicates differently. Kasi syempre, di ba, iba-ibang personality ng tao eh. Merong mga tao na introvert, may ibang tao extrovert, yung iba auditory, yung iba visual, di ba?
Yeah.
Kinesthetic yung iba. So, yung mode of learning, mode of communication, so in the same way, if you are the team leader, you need to provide instructions, if you need to provide feedback, you have to adjust depending on the person that you're talking to.
Yes.
So,
yes.
That's difficult na even if let's say you're in a physical setup. All the more nagiging difficult in a remote or virtual setup. So that's a huge challenge in communication.
Yeah, definitely.
Kaya ako, how do I do that? Syempre, it's very important that you know your team members. Kailangan kilalanin mo sila. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Like in our case, pare the way I communicate with you, 'di ba? Maski magmurahan tayo sa sa Zoom, okay lang, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Kasi
Yeah.
iba yung level ng communication natin. I mean, we've worked together for so many years, 'di ba?
10 years. Yep. Yes. Your greatest career choice, Onsi.
So, pero communicating naman with somebody else, let's say somebody new, 'di ba? Alam mo kapag ka nagbigay ka ng very harsh feedback, sasamaan loob, 'di ba? You have to adjust, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Pero syempre you have to you have to learn how to handle those kind of communication scenarios.
Yeah. I guess if I can parang I've been managing teams from our rin naman on different levels. Ngayon lang ako like I've managed to handle like bigger departments now, and it really takes some getting used to knowing these people, right? Tama kayo when you mentioned na some of them respond more appropriately kapag through call, auditory sila. Some of them visual, some of them kinesthetic. By kinesthetic, syempre, you can't literally physically hold their hand to show them how. Like you show them via demonstration through Zoom, screen sharing. So it's a very it's definitely it was relatively difficult, pero once you get to know these people na it becomes very easy and to some extent very rewarding.
Yep.
Like I will not mention this name, pero there was one particular colleague that I work with talaga na parang noong una
Ang hirap.
I am going it was particularly challenging to work with him. Him yan, clue na yan, pero hindi ko sasabihin yung name. Pero as time went by, as I learned how to communicate with him, parang it gets easier, and it came to a point na parang I just need one call with him and we're done. And these are tasks na mga bagong tasks for him. And recently he's been doing very well. Diba? So parang it really gets it takes it takes really getting interpersonal with the individual to find out how he best communicates.
Yep. Ako analogy ko diyan parang parang basketball.
Okay.
Sorry, hindi ka maka.
I don't know anything about
diba? Mamaya isipin mo anong board game
Quidditch.
ang pwedeng analogy. Well, in basketball kasi
You shoot the ball in the ring. Sorry.
Team.
The basketball fans.
Okay, so
yeah.
Sometimes you don't need to literally talk to your teammate. Let's say for a play. Minsan let's say split second, magkatinginan lang kayo, nagkakaintindihan na kayo eh. 'Di ba?
Yeah.
Pag tinaas mo yung hand mo na gano'n, ibig sabihin pasa. 'Di ba? Alam mo kung saan pasa, 'di ba? Alley-oop, 'di ba? Dunk mo na lang. Layup or what, 'di ba? Or paano ipapasa, or paano ka mag-screen. So, if you've been working or if you've been playing with teammates na matagal na, tendency meron na kayong kind of parang dynamics na nadidevelop
Rapport,
na chemistry na non-verbal. So, I guess it's the same also working with remote teams.
Yeah.
Due to, let's say, cultural, language, age differences, personality differences, it's going to be difficult at the start. But once you spend more time together, once you spend or get to know each other more, it's going to be easier. Pero you need to put in the work. You need to put in the hours.
Definitely. Yeah. It's not something that, sometimes it happens if you're really lucky na parang pasahan mo lang, and I guess I'm also very lucky to have experienced that. Pasahan mo lang ng isang task, you don't even have to tell them what to do. They do it na. And sometimes they deliver more than they expect.
Di ba? Ang sarap ng feeling ng ganon, di ba?
I won't mention her name, pero clue na yung her. Pero magaling, I was very with that. Pero for others, you really have to work you have to work to get to that level talaga. Pakiramdaman na may papasa ako sa yung task, alam na niya anong gagawin. Very little communication needed na because he or she knows na how to handle that.
Yeah, nag-offline si Restream.
We're still
online. Wala lang nawala yung stream sa sa Restream. Pero okay na, bumalik na siya.
Yeah.
Ang ganda diyan. All these things that we've been talking about, it's pretty much the same with any other kind of relationship.
Okay. Not an expert in that, but go
diba?
on.
Iba-ibang personality, iba-ibang maraming differences, challenges sa communication. Pare, we've been talking for how many minutes already? It's almost 8 o'clock. Pero,
and that's just
communication. Yeah, it's just communication. I would say, bottom line, it's really communication
It's 90%.
It's 90%
all things
communication.
considered, yeah.
So, yes, you can have all the best tools.
Yeah.
You can have all the
Connection.
different tactics, di ba?
Oo.
Training and all of these things. Pero, kung hindi solid ang communication mo, I think it's not going to succeed.
Like, yeah. As an individual, if you have problems communicating, it's going to be very particularly difficult to communicate.
Yep. Oo.
Yeah. And siguro, if you have a task in mind or an objective in mind, it has to be clear to you as well, so that you're able to portray that very clearly sa colleague mo.
Yep.
So it's parang especially if you're a manager, 'di ba? If the manager is magulo na, as above so below. Magulo lahat.
Yep.
So ayun.
Correct.
Very rare cases na parang the colleague na nag-work with the manager makes sense out of all it. Pero parang
And in spite of these challenges, in spite of these difficulties, in spite of these differences, it still can be it still can be molded Kayang gawan ng paraan.
It's a skill.
Oh, it's a skill that can be learned. It's something na pwedeng i-mold. Same like parang your company culture, it's something that can be influenced.
Yeah.
Pero kailangan trabahuhin.
Yeah.
Oh. So, yeah, I won't talk about company culture kasi that's
another podcast.
We can reserve that for a different episode. That's going to be a longer discussion, pero that's going to be an interesting topic. Creating
Gee, I wonder who's going to be the guest for that again.
Uy, mag-invite naman tayo iba para may fresh insight naman, di ba?
Na ibang internal din para naman. Masaya.
Hindi, pero seriously, that's something that I wanna talk about. Kasi yes, we've created so much improvement in not just in our internal processes, workflow, communication, culture, but ang dami pa We're far from way far from the ideal remote team or work from home culture. So that's something that we need to work on also. So assignment ko yun, syempre, as the person leading our team.
Yeah. Yep. I do want to say then na I don't know if it's a proper assessment, pero I think talaga compared then when we were reporting to the office, we were more productive and at the same time parang much clearer yung now much productive and much more, I guess, na-clarify yung na-clarify talaga yung mga roles sa company because of because of this communication brought about by this situation.
Yep.
So,
good.
Yep, definitely.
All right, sige. So it's already 7:55. 5 more minutes to wrap up. I think we pretty much discussed the gist of
Yeah, it's a communication.
It's a communication. Master the communication aspect. I think you pretty much
everything
get
will follow.
like 90% of of the work from home, managing your remote teams setup.
Yeah, it's I guess if we will add more, just get a reliable project management software, which is, by the way, we mentioned Trello.
Yep.
Diba?
Parang nag-i-invite ka ng sponsorship
I'm not inviting Trello.com. Shout out to Trello.com. We will mention this episode in our Twitter. Yeah, but they're very it's been a very helpful tool for us. Baka sa inyo iba, it could be Slack.com, it could be Monday.com. So yeah, Trello worked for us because it's very kita namin lahat yung mga tasks namin.
Yes.
So yeah,
kita na lahat kung anong ginagawa mo.
Yeah, or kung anong
hindi mo ginagawa. Okay.
Yeah. So,
alright, sige. Paalam na tayo. Invite mo muna sila sa mo. Sa yung mga online
sa ginagawa ko.
pinagkakabalahan mo.
Francia Digital. FranciaDigital.com, digital pub. Anyway, yeah. So I have my own website. It's benfrancia.com. Joke lang. It's carlogeeksout.com. It's a website that talks about games and other stuff that geeks like me love. I also have a YouTube channel. Just search Carlo Geeks Out in YouTube and in Instagram and in Twitter, and you'll find me. I play all sorts of content, and then I'd like to invite you all then to follow Tabletop Titos. That's our Facebook page where we play tabletop games. And then lastly, ayun.
Dami. Singilin na kita, ha? Dami mong promotion.
Also short rest. Every weekends we have a podcast that talks about Dungeons and Dragons. Ayan.
Okay, sige guys, thank you so much. Carlos, salamat. Maraming salamat sa pakikiramay. Okay. Yeah. Sige, again guys, thank you so much. Thanks for spending your Wednesday night with us. If you have any other topics that you want us to talk about, share it to us. Send me an email. It's me@benfrancia.com, or just post a message in the comment section. Share this live stream, share this video, like this post, or just simply follow us para you'll get notified when we post our next live stream. Okay, so thank you so much. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Yes, guys. Bye-bye.